Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street NOLA, and I'm here with my friend Helen, otherwise known as the Crimson Cadaverous, and we're going through our celestial chat for the week of 9/12 through 9/18.
Yes.
And starting with Monday, the moon is in Aries, and the beginning of the week is not as energetically active. Is that correct?
We got a little bit of a chill phase.
Okay, good.
Which
Well,
is good. We kind of need that after that really deep dive we did into the Pisces full moon.
Yes,
So
thank you.
The intangibility of it all.
Thank you.
We just need a little bit of, like, the moon in Aries is kind of take charge. The moon in Taurus is grounded. We need that.
Yes, and so like she said, the moon in Aries will be there Monday and Tuesday, and then the moon will move into Taurus on Wednesday.
And actually form a conjunction with Uranus and the North Node.
Okay, good.
Who've both been in conjunction for a couple months now,
Yes.
actually.
Yep. So that moon in Taurus is doing a lot of speaking.
Yeah. A lot of talking, but a lot of it's very grounded.
Yeah, right. That's what that Taurus energy is.
Yes.
And it's important to you guys because, that moon in Pisces and then Aries, right? Pisces is intangibility, like you kind of said. And then that Aries is like that, well, we kind of figured where we are now. Things ended
Initiating.
Things ended and started at the same time. So we're kind of initiating where we think we should be moving.
Yes.
Right? And so that moon in Taurus is having that conversation like, well, let's ground some of these ideas that you think you might be going into.
Yep.
Okay.
And again, grounding in specifically that conjunction with the North Node and Uranus, grounding in the changes.
Right. And so,
and I'm comfortable with them.
Right. And so I think that's a really important theme that we're going through right now.
Yes.
And when we're saying I'll say how I'm saying grounding in the changes is just to be comfortable with the idea that we are in quote unquote flux.
Yeah.
Right? And also be comfortable with the idea that we still know how to move along our day-to-day life, even though we notice things are falling away or moving. It's sort of, to me, that Eight of Cups energy.
Yes. Yeah.
Does that resonate with you?
Moving away, from like a certain feeling into something else.
Yeah.
And it definitely feels like that as we progress through this week, that we're just kind of slowly letting old narratives fall away and feeling more and more comfortable in the skin of whatever that new narrative is that we're kind of building for ourselves. We're building it right now. And Taurus is helping us build that.
Yeah.
Taurus North Node, Taurus Uranus, Moon and Taurus, it's all kind of helping us build that foundation.
Yeah. And so it's important because, and I'm going to just kind of backtrack a scotch with that full moon in Pisces, right? And I think the best way to look at that full moon in action would be the death of the queen.
Yes.
Right? Right when she died, the next king was like that. Queen's dead, king's going.
For the queen.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Okay. Cheers to you, milady. And so, but Pisces is that when it's its highest Pisces self. One thing ends, another thing begins immediately. And what's important too, going still with that storyline, is everyone's talking about how King Charles is going to be king. And blah blah blah. Okay, well we don't really know. Okay, so it's important to let these old storylines fall away of like, yes, I got it who he was for the last 70 years. Okay, am I that invested? No, because I don't live in England. But at the same time, though, there is room for a new narrative to begin.
Yes,
right.
A new narrative, and we're evolving it. We are building it.
And that Uranus,
as we build,
and that Uranus and Taurus, to me, is kind of like shooting down or blowing up that old storyline.
Yeah.
I'm using the King of England. Okay, I really don't, but you guys can follow along with us, right? Because everyone's saying this is how it's going to go.
It represents the old traditional way of doing things,
right? And we think he's going to be
ruling over people,
but the reality of it is we don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, we don't know.
Uranus could be blowing his ass up right now, and he's like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go down this route.
And everything I think that we're building towards is recognizing that we don't know what anything is going to be.
Right. And that's okay, you guys, because the reality of it is we as individual sovereign beings are listening to our higher selves more, and we're getting more comfortable with this idea that we can write our own narrative.
And being present in that narrative as opposed to worrying about trying to write the future narrative or worrying about the past narrative.
High five.
Like, what is the present narrative?
Right.
And Uranus and the North Node meeting up with the moon in Taurus is kind of grounding that in.
Yes.
The present narrative.
Yep.
Being here.
Being here.
Yeah,
being
tangible. Because again, the Taurus is all about tangibility.
Right. And we were in Pisces, which is
very intangible.
Right. Even though we saw in action death, which actually is the mystery, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then the rebirth, which is the king. So going on that. So we've gone through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. Now we're moving into Thursday. The moon is still in Taurus. Okay. It's trining the sun and Pluto. Pluto is still retrograde, one of the retrograde planets.
Yep.
Okay.
All the outer planets are retrograde right now.
Lord. Okay.
Yep.
Neptune, retrograde. Pluto, retrograde.
Yep.
Mercury, retrograde. I'm just throwing that in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a lot of reflection going on.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
And it's that idea that we can, I think, to me, let go of these old narratives.
Yes.
Okay. Venus is in Virgo on Thursday.
Yes.
And she will be squaring Mars in Gemini.
Yep.
Okay. And so how are you interpreting that? This Venus and Virgo
Again,
squaring.
it's another challenge to find that balance between, this tangible, nurturing, almost like staying at home energy versus that like restless adventurousness of like going out into the world.
Yeah.
How do we find the balance?
Mhm.
And what is the narrative we tell ourselves where we can find a balance?
Mhm.
And
That's good.
it's going to be something different for everybody.
Right.
So it's not like somebody's going to be like, this is what it looks like to live your life.
Right.
We're writing that story.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right now. In Venus and Virgo, you guys, to me as well, Venus is that divine feminine, right? She's in Virgo, who is the resolver. Okay.
Yeah.
But when Venus is there, Venus is a good communicator. And she's also talking about self-worth. And so I feel like this Venus in Virgo is starting to tie up some loose ends where we weren't feeling very self-worthy.
Yeah.
And we're starting to realize our self-worth. And she's squaring that Mars in Gemini. And like you said, that Mars in Gemini is moving us into a new space, right? Gemini is the air sign.
Yeah.
Mars is moving us,
It's curious power.
Right, because Venus.
We're curious about our power.
Right. Venus is the divine feminine. Mars is that divine masculine. And then she's like, hey,
Yeah.
we need to move this around, Mars, because I know what I'm worth now. And Mars is like, okay, let me know what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And in that internal struggle, which is so dramatic, I'm using this. It doesn't need to be that dramatic, folks. But it's there. It's that, like you said, adventure.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be out adventuring all the time, but we can't be at home either.
Right, hiding and going, I'm going to be safe and,
Right.
nurture myself or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
And it's interesting to note that these are both mercurial energies because Venus in Virgo is, attached with Mercury.
Right.
And so is Gemini. So both of those are about communication.
Yeah.
Again, we're communicating how we balance ourselves out.
Yes. You know what I keep using the word? And I don't know why I start using this word all the time. Signaling. We're signaling to ourselves.
Yes.
What are we signaling?
And that's what Mars and Venus are doing right now.
Yeah.
They're signaling to one another as they're squaring off.
Yeah.
Trying to find that balance in the narrative.
Right.
And that's what we're doing all week, basically.
Yeah, moving us forward.
Yes.
And think of signals, whatever signals. Okay.
Yes.
So moving into Friday, Moon will move into Gemini, which is good, and it'll be trining Mercury in Libra. Okay, and remember, Mercury is still retrograde.
Yep.
And Libra is balance.
Yep.
Libra is also an air sign, so that moon in Gemini is an air sign. The moon is like, hey guys, what's going on? She's like, oh, hey Mars, what's good? You in here? All right,
Yeah.
okay. Because the moon wants to talk. And then it's like, look who's right next to us, Mercury. How far is the trine? 60?
4 signs, 120.
120, I'm great
Yeah.
at math. So it's looking over there, it's waving at Mercury, being like, what's up, girl?
And
Okay.
it's very harmonious. It's a
Yeah.
very harmonious meetup. So it's like, again, a lot of conversation because again, there's a lot of mercurial energy there with Mercury and then also the moon in Gemini. So we're talking a lot this week
Yeah, go ahead.
to ourselves,
Yes.
to others, to
Right.
the world.
And it's important, you guys, because Gemini, air sign, Libra, air sign, Venus is still in Taurus. Taurus is Earth, right? So it's important for you guys, listen to what your intuition is saying, but also start to listen to what you're feeling, okay? Because I feel like
That's the intangibility.
yes, and the uncomfortable is coming through the fact that we are starting to listen to it with our whole bodies
Yeah.
instead of
Not
just
just the rational, like I can tangibly explain this, so I
Right.
believe it. That's
Right.
the only way I'll believe it.
right.
Yeah.
And we're moving more into using discernment.
Right.
And
And
that's
being
that
comfortable
moon.
with that.
Yep.
And again, discernment within the narrative too.
Right.
Where we're writing it in a way where we get that balance between the intangible and the tangible.
Right on. Okay, is there something else you want to say about Friday?
just that Sun and Virgo opposite Neptune and Pisces is again the intangible versus the tangible.
Yeah.
You know, like that, the bright, like, you know, grounded feeling of like Sun and Virgo versus like the, you know, deep waters of Neptune and Pisces. Like,
Yeah.
how do we figure out how to be both, basically?
Yeah, and I mean, it's good. I know, like, sometimes it sounds like we're saying stay, go, stay, leave. But,
Yeah. But what's the balance in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That masculine sun, right, is in Virgo, right? And so I feel like maybe that's quicker ideas coming in too.
Yeah.
Because that Virgo energy, again, resolves, but it's not a long energy. But that sun is that masculine that moves.
Yeah.
And Virgo is a strong mover. Like, it wants us to move. Like, it moves us from...
Wants us to work.
Yes, it moves
Yes.
us from summer to
It's
fall.
fall,
That's
yeah.
whether we want to go or not.
That's the work of the harvest.
I just want to,
Yeah.
yes, you know, I like sitting in the sun and
Yeah.
just laying out, but it moves us. So use that sun and Virgo energy to start lighting your ass up, basically.
Yeah.
It's
Get
okay.
moving,
Get
working,
moving.
Getting back to work.
And losing those old stories.
Yeah, definitely.
That Neptune and Pisces, right? What's that old dream that maybe you've got to let go of to let the new one come in?
Yes. And that's again what we're doing the next day,
On
Saturday,
Saturday, yep.
when we have the last quarter moon. It's like, again, it's a mutable moon, you know, with the mutable sun.
Right.
So it's like we're working out of old narratives. We're
Yep.
working our way out of them, because we can say all we want that we're done with something, but we do kind of have to put some work into grieving it, being done with it,
Right.
releasing the old narratives. And I think it's time for us to do that work during that first or that last quarter moon. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the time for us to take the action towards release anyway.
And I really like that. I knew I had to make some decisions, right, last week and this week, and it was just like, but I want to move forward.
Yeah.
You know, like, it is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I have so much more that I want to get done.
Yeah.
Right? And so it was, I mean, you know, you just have to make that decision. Like,
Right.
where do you want to go?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm really happy. Everyone's happy. I'm seeing a cloud right now that looks sort of like a dog, so that's
Oh,
good.
nice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I think you nailed it on the head, and I'm relating it to the fact where it came to me, screeching noises. But I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
Like, there is more that I want to do.
And that's what the quarter moons are a lot about. Is
Yeah.
decision making.
Right.
You know, should I stay or should I go?
Oh.
A first quarter moon is should I go? And
Right.
then a last quarter moon is like should I
Go
stay, and then should I go with
Right.
the last quarter moon? So it's like, in a way, some things will have to go, and some of that will be related to the old narratives.
Right.
That we have to literally work our way out of.
Right.
Because we still have something residual inside of us that remembers that old paradigm.
Right. And it's
So
okay.
We have to keep working to release.
We have to keep working to release, but also knowing that we're moving towards what's our betterment.
Right. Where
Right.
we're
And there's
supposed to be, the
probably,
North Node, where
right.
we're supposed to be going.
And there's might be some things that we need to bring forward with us. And I just wanted to say, you're saying a mutable moon.
Mhm.
And the reason you're saying that is because it's in Gemini.
Yes.
And Gemini is a mutable sign.
Right.
And,
And
she's
same
saying
thing with the sun being in Virgo, which
It's
is
mutable.
Yes.
Okay. Is there something else you'd like to finish up with Saturday?
I think we're good on Saturday.
Okay, so Sunday.
Yep, we've got that T-square action between the Cancer moon, the moon moves into Cancer, squaring Mercury in Libra, and then Jupiter in Aries.
Okay.
So
And Jupiter's retrograde too? Or no?
Yeah, Jupiter's
It's
retrograde.
retrograde too,
So
okay.
yeah, everybody's retrograde, obviously, but the moon is at home in Cancer, so that's a good energy.
Yeah.
But again, we're finding a way to nurture ourselves while we release old narratives.
Yeah.
And we boldly, that Jupiter energy in Aries, we're boldly going towards what's new.
Yeah.
But we have to let go
Yeah.
to keep going.
Right.
The old baggage, like leave the backpack behind that has the clothes that don't even fit you anymore.
Oh God! I tell you,
That's it.
I wore jeans the first time today, and I was like, "Sweet Jesus, let these jeans still fit me." Side note: they did.
Yay!
Okay, thank you. But yes, that Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter is retrograde in Aries, right?
Yes.
So I feel like it's going over things that we've already initiated, right? And keeping them at a normal size,
Yeah.
because Jupiter is expansion,
Right.
So we're going over how we can keep making what's here better.
Right.
Does that make sense? Or no?
But also remaining faithful. as we do this, because that's a lot of what Jupiter is about. We always talk about the expansion,
yeah,
but like
it is
he's
the
also
maintenance.
about faith.
Yeah, maintaining.
Yeah,
the faith.
maintaining the faith, because I mean, there's a lot of times throughout what we're going through right now where our faith is being tested.
Yeah,
it's like we have to remember, we have to remember the old narrative that got us here, but write the current narrative.
Right, and know, like, the more we start listening to ourselves, the quicker our narrative
shifts.
Yeah,
it does.
It does.
The minute we just start saying, yeah, we're kind of done with it.
Yeah, it wasn't even my narrative to begin with.
There's a lot of narratives I think we're going to be releasing that weren't even ours.
Yeah.
Which, I think there's some grief in that.
Yes, there is, because it was like kind of like, this is a path we should be going down. Now, was it a happy path or a path that really ever would work? Probably not. But we were all lied to for a long time.
Yeah, but Sun trine Pluto.
Okay.
Those shadows coming to light, shining authentically, because we have embraced those shadows, because we have looked at the old narratives that weren't ours.
Right.
Said they're not ours, and said, bye.
Bye. Yeah.
I don't need you anymore. That's somebody else's story. Why am I trying to live somebody else's story?
Right. And you wrote down here ego rebirth, and I think that's a really beautiful thing to say, because our ego can be in its highest self, and it is there to actually.
Ego.
Yes,
or
we do.
We wouldn't try to do anything.
Right.
Because it's like we want things.
Yeah.
It's just we need to make sure that what we're wanting is in our best interest, which is what Pluto is always reminding us.
Right, and it's true to our authentic self.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, shining authentically.
Yeah.
And I think, once we go through all this week of, these deep conversations with ourselves that we're having with, all the planets that are retrograde, Mercury specifically, conversationalist planet, we're talking about a lot with ourselves and with others. By the end of that, it's like we get to this point where it's like, all right, let me just be myself.
Right,
now.
that sun
I
is
know
that.
what the story is that I'm supposed to be living.
Right, that sun is our solar plexus.
Yeah, it is.
And that solar plexus is our self-confidence.
Yeah, it's our power, it's our drive.
Yes.
Yes.
And I always tell people, and I can tell you guys too, if you need to do a solar plexus solar plexus meditation, go to YouTube.
Go sit out in the sun safely, soak up some of that.
Yeah, just see your solar plexus getting moving in the right direction. Okay. Well, I think this is going to be a good week. My heart feels happy.
Lots of talking.
Yes.
But good
Mercury,
talking. Yes. Lots of good talking.
Yeah, Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
But lots of good talking.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. Well, we're going to get this up and loaded. We'll see how it works with Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for hanging out with me. Okay, you guys. And as always, if you have any questions, just reach out below. All right, see you next week.
Bye. Have a good week.